OT, where you at, OT? Lord of Knives. Woo-doo! Woo-doo! What are you saying?
Nothing much, bro.
I was just checking out this tree. I'll come right down. What's going on, guys? It's OT, the Lord of Knives, and today is a very special knife review because we're reviewing my favorite fixed blade. This here is the Buck 119 Special out of Idaho, USA. You may recognize this knife from the Scream series, although in the Scream series they're using the Buck 120, which is about an inch longer, but essentially it's like the same knife. This is like the granddaddy of all bushcraft camping knives. This used to be the gold standard for many decades. Nowadays, these modern knives offer many more advantages and advancements in technology, but this knife can still do what needs to be done. And I've had this knife for maybe 7 or 8 years, and I use it more than any of my other fixed blades, and it's still ticking, still working just fine. This knife is super affordable and super accessible. You can get it at just about any place that sells knives, any like Walmart or Bass Pro. Wherever you get your outdoor equipment, you can get a Buck 119 Special. All right, without further ado, let's get into this knife and let's see what it can do.
The Buck 119 Special has an overall length of 10.5 inches. The blade length is 6 inches. The handle length is 4.5 inches. The blade thickness is 0.17 inch. The handle thickness is 1 inch. The overall weight is 7.5 ounces. The handle material is a phenolic polymer. The blade steel is 420 high carbon. The blade shape is a clip point style, which I'm told is great for hunting and skinning deer, which I know nothing about because the only thing I've ever hunted was a rabbit with a slingshot, and it turned out to be a possum, and it turned out to already be dead, but I'll take the credit anyway. It has a satin finish. The grind is a hollow grind, which is not ideal for slicing and food prep, as you can see here, but it does excel at light bushcraft tasks such as sharpening and feather sticking, though it is not as efficient as a Scandi or flat grind for said tasks. It still gets the job done rather easily. The knife doesn't have a perfect 90-degree spine, so you can't strike a flint rod with it, which does suck.
Yeah, like you like it. This is horrible.
It's terrible. The ergonomics on the knife are pretty good. I have knives with worse ergonomics. I have knives with better ergonomics. Overall, I'd have to say it's not so bad. Probably a 6.5 out of 10. I do really like how the handle really fills the hand. It feels substantial, like you're holding a solid tool, which it totally is. I don't know how I feel about the phenolic polymer material though. It's a bit slippy, but hey, it gets her going. If you do have the financial freedom or a separate bank account from your wife, then I would suggest you get the 119 Pro with the green canvas micarta handles and the S35 VN blade. Now that's a knife. But yeah, solid ergonomics and great aesthetics though. Like the knife really does look good. A lot of the weight of this knife is in the handle, and with the clip point and hollow grind, it's just not going to be a big chopper. Because it is a 6-inch knife and it does weigh over 7 ounces, it can chop, but you're asking a lot out of a hunting knife if you're going to be chopping wood with this.
Let me just try to break it now.
And that's how we do that. No damage to the edge. Yeah, the edge held up fine. It's much duller now, but that's what you get with the 420 high carbon. But it's super easy to sharpen. So we're gonna do some light batoning. These pieces of wood are 3 inches, maybe a little bit less than 3 inches. But a buck 110 or a buck 119 is not meant to really be like a powerhouse knife. It's not gonna be batoning 4 or 5 inch pieces of wood. But I'm just here to show you that it can do some batoning. So let's get it done. Piece of wood that I have is not big or heavy. Edge held up fine.
For all you bushcrafters watching me do this tip test thinking, oh, he's not stabbing the wood hard enough. If you are a bushcrafter, you most likely own a buck 119, and you look me in the eyes and tell me that if you did a tip test, you would not be nervous about snapping the tip. Because even though the buck 119, the tip isn't super thin, I feel like the tip can get snapped off pretty easily, and I just can't bring myself to do it. I literally love this knife.
Tip held up fine. No damage to it. Looking good.
This is how the knife looks in the sheath. My sheath is a bit beat up because I've had this knife for 8 years now. The sheath is made of mostly one piece of leather. There is another small piece of leather that makes up the belt loop. The buck button looks like this. I think the buck button looks pretty cool. I don't know, I like it. The sheath comes with a little plastic insert so the knife doesn't shank up the inside of the sheath, and overall I think it's a quality sheath. I've brought it out on many trips, and many times it has kept my knife nice and dry, and yeah, I have no problems with it. I think it's a quality sheath.
Boom, that's how it is on the hip. So guys, final thoughts on the buck 119 special. Although many of these modern knives are more capable in every conceivable way, the buck 119 still remains competitive and it still remains relevant. As I've shown you guys, it's still very capable. It can do all the tasks that you need to do, especially if you're not focusing on like heavy duty tasks. If you want to just do light bushcraft tasks, then this knife, it can do everything that you need to do. Although the shape is not ideal for bushcraft and the handle is a bit slippy, I still gravitate towards this knife because I like how high it sits on the waist. And for the price of this knife, you really can't go wrong. You can find it anywhere. And I also believe that this is just like an all-American classic. If you like the buck 110, then I feel like you're gonna like the buck 119 for many of the same reasons. This is just a staple in American knives. I think it looks good, it performs good, price is good. I think it's a great knife. It's my favorite belt knife, and I'm gonna continue to use it for as long as I can. I think we're gonna end it here because it's getting really late. But remember folks, knife is like a box of chocolates. I'm OT, the Lord of Knives. Stay sharp.